This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis.
Welcome back on to the Morning Majlis. Every October 12th is being recognized as World Arthritis Day. It is a global initiative bringing people together to raise awareness of rheumatic and musculoskeletal diseases. Now, just a fun fact here. Out of every 5 adults, 1 adult has arthritis. So you must believe that it is a big issue that we have with us here in the world. So how can you observe the early signs of arthritis in order to act fast? Are there ways to cure it or alleviate the pain that is associated with it? How do you stop it from progressing? What are the lifestyle changes that should be made? All of the questions will be answered because here with us we have Dr. Bhavna Khan, active supporter at Middle East Arthritis Foundation and consultant rheumatologist. Dr. Bhavna, good morning. You are on the air with us.
Good morning, Rania. How are you?
I am fantastic. So, Dr. Bhavna, today on the show, we're going to talk all about arthritis and the significance of the day of World Arthritis Day. So can you start by talking to us about what arthritis is?
Sure, yeah. I mean, as you rightly mentioned, arthritis is rising. The incidence and prevalence of arthritis is going high day by day. And I think it's one of the conditions that people do not take it seriously because people think this is not really life-threatening, but it can be quite crippling. It can cause a lot of disability. Now, the word arthritis simply means joint inflammation.
Yeah.
And we know that arthritis can affect all different age groups, from childhood to old people. Again, the misconcept of arthritis being aging is it is necessary we address this.
Yeah.
There are different types of arthritis. Some forms of arthritis can be due to simple wear and tear process. Some arthritis can result from injuries, old injuries, sports injuries. But what we are really concerned about is rising numbers of conditions called autoimmune arthritis, which means these can affect people of all age groups due to overactive or uncontrolled immune system. And this can affect your joints by causing inflammation and progressive joint damage. And this is one of the arthritis that we are particularly concerned because this can be prevented, treated early, and one can prevent the joint damage as well. So there are different forms of arthritis. And if one has symptoms of joint pain, swelling, or stiffness, you need to get help early enough. That's the message for today.
What about all forms of arthritis? You mentioned that. Does all forms, do they all worsen with age?
I mean, clearly with the age and use and abuse and misuse of your joints, the cartilage tends to wear out. So certainly all forms of arthritis does get worse during, as we age. But there are ways to prevent it and there are ways to delay it. And this is purely by moving. I mean, that is one of the major problems we face worldwide today. Due to sedentary work style and, laptops, computer work, people don't get, to move their joints, to strengthen their muscles, exercise, and this can lead to worsening of any form of arthritis. So I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to keep moving, strengthen your muscles, and exercise on a regular basis. That applies to all forms of arthritis.
Now, are there ways to stop it from progressing?
Yes, certainly it depends on which type of arthritis. As I said, aging-related or osteoarthritis, which is due to wear and tear in the cartilage, can be prevented or you can stop progression by simply exercising, strengthening your joints, eating healthy, and obesity. That is one of the major risk factors for worsening of joints. And eating healthy, controlling your weight is a major factor because you reduce the burden on your weight-bearing joints like knees, hips, and ankles. So lifestyle changes, definitely these are the only ways. People recourse to various supplements. Not all of them can stop the progression, but of course some supplements can do that, such as glucosamine, chondroitin supplements. Also eating healthy diet. We have certain food which are pro-inflammatory and there are certain food which are anti-inflammatory. And we want to promote healthy eating where you have less of fat, less of sugar, carbohydrates, and eat healthily, as in, oily fish. Vitamin D and calcium is very important for your muscle and joint strength. So plenty of calcium-rich food like fish, eggs, and also leafy vegetables. Vitamin D is very important. We have significant vitamin D deficiency in this part of the world, purely because of lack of sun. And regular exposure to direct sunlight is important in maintaining your vitamin D level. So all these factors are important in preventing arthritis.
Yeah, and can you talk to us about what's happening in this country in particular, in the Middle East region, as far as the prevalence of arthritis? Is it more or less than other parts of the world? Could you just elaborate on that aspect?
Yeah, sure. We certainly know that it's on the rise, although it is very difficult to measure the prevalence and incidence, because Dubai and UAE, as we know, is a moving population. So there aren't any large epidemiological studies to document the exact prevalence, but we know that approximately 1 in 5 persons are affected by some or the other forms of arthritis, whether it is wear and tear, whether it is injury-related or autoimmune arthritis. As I mentioned, rheumatologists are particularly concerned about rising number of autoimmune arthritis, such as rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis. And these are the forms of arthritis that can affect young people and can cause deformities and joint damage. So this is what we are more concerned about, and we know that the prevalence is very high. The challenges are delaying diagnosis because of lack of awareness amongst people. They may not get the right help at the right time, or they may see the wrong specialists, and hence the diagnosis can be delayed. This is one of the major challenges in this part of the world. Although it has improved over the last decade, we still see people coming at a very late stage or very late with their joint manifestations without a diagnosis. So the key thing is early diagnosis, early treatment, and that's what can prevent.
Speaking of early diagnosis, what are the early signs that one could look out for in order to go and get their self-diagnosed?
Sure.
Checked.
The earliest sign of a joint inflammation is, of course, pain, but also what we call as inactivity stiffness, which means your joint hurts or gets very stiff when you don't move. So typically first thing in the morning when you wake up, if you feel any joints are swollen, any joints are very stiff, and it improves with movement, say over an hour or so, you start feeling a bit more mobile and less stiff. This is an early warning sign of an inflammatory arthritis. And this is something you can't ignore and ask for help. Any joint that is swollen, and painful, you need to get, you need to be aware that this could be an early sign of arthritis or an inflammatory arthritis. Or people getting recurrent tendonitis, tendon inflammations, heel pains. Achilles tendon is one of the tendons that can get inflamed in a condition called psoriatic arthritis. Or if you have a skin condition, psoriasis, you need to be vigilant about any joint pain you experience. And back pain, of course. Low back pain that is worse when you don't move, or you wake up with a back stiffness, and this could be an early sign of a type of arthritis called spondyloarthritis. So these are some of the early signs.
We got a text here from Yusuf, and he's asking us about, in terms of treating arthritis, you've got your conventional treatments as well, but what about alternative medicine? Is that something you recommend to patients? Things like acupuncture, for example?
That was a great question.
Yeah.
It's a great question. I think the whole world is moving into alternative therapy, naturopathy these days. I do not necessarily have an insight into the science of these different alternative therapies, but what I can tell is acupuncture, particularly that you mentioned, we do suggest acupuncture in certain types of painful conditions, especially chronic pain. So in my opinion, acupuncture cannot cure inflammatory arthritis. And it's also based on evidence and scientific evidence and experience. Acupuncture is a way of treating pain. So in other words, it helps pain management. It can distract your nerve fibers from conveying pain signals to your brain. So it works really well. But the types of arthritis we're talking about, the rheumatoid arthritis, the psoriatic arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, there is no cure for these conditions. That is the hard fact. but we can control it. We can treat it early with certain medication that can actually stop the disease process. That's what is important. It's not just important to treat your pain, but it's important to treat the underlying cause. In these conditions, the underlying cause is overactive immune system that is fighting your own joints, causing damage and inflammation. So there are huge advances in the treatment of arthritis that can actually stop inflammation, stop your joint damage if you start the treatment early enough.
Yeah, and in terms of access to the treatment in the first place, here in the country, could you talk to us about the challenges of this condition being covered by insurance companies?
Yeah, sure. Well, from the Dubai Health Authority initiative, the basic treatment for any form of inflammatory arthritis should be covered by all insurance policies. So by the word basic treatment, we mean certain conventional disease-modifying treatments. Methotrexate, for instance, is one of the common drugs we use for inflammatory arthritis. It's not very expensive, and most people can afford it, and insurance companies do cover it. And when people do not respond to the conventional or the traditional disease-modifying treatments or the basic treatments, we then move on to the next step of treatment called the biological treatment. These are called miracles in the modern rheumatology because they can actually improve lifestyle to a great extent and stop the disease from progressing. However, they are very expensive. So we are conscious and we are aware of the fact that not everybody needs it. Not everybody can afford it. So we usually reserve these for people who do not respond to the conventional treatment. Yes, there are some challenges where the very basic insurance categories may not cover these expensive treatments, but there are other ways of helping because there are government initiatives, there are charity programs where people who are really deserving and cannot financially afford these costs, we simply refer them to that. But most of the insurance policies cover at least basic disease-modifying agents. Yes, of course, the high-expense biologic treatments can be sometimes challenging to cover.
So can physical therapy help with alleviating the pain or reducing the pain and swelling and stiffness of, for example, let's say osteoarthritis?
Absolutely. Physiotherapy plays a major role in the treatment of all forms of arthritis. Okay. If it is a wear and tear related osteoarthritis, people often don't use their weight-bearing joints because of pain, and that can lead to secondary loss of muscle mass and can cause muscle wasting and muscle weakness. So physiotherapy helps in maintaining and improving muscle strength. It also, physiotherapy colleagues can also help you with splinting the joints when the joints are highly inflamed so that you can give it appropriate rest and allow it to heal. So needless to say that, exercise program that is individualized, it is tailored for each individual joint, has to be recommended and trained by the physiotherapists. Because often we see people when they start getting joint pains, they straight away hit the gym and start running on the treadmill. And this is not the right approach. And physiotherapy is one of the main treatments in the early forms of arthritis. And even for the advanced arthritis, in joint protection, in joint maintenance of the joint function, and improving muscle strength.
Are there any daily bad habits that we all practice that we're not aware of that might be a causing factor of arthritis? For example, there's this myth. When I was younger, I used to love cracking my knuckles, and I remember my mom and my grandmother, they said, "Don't do that. This will cause you arthritis." I don't know if this is true or is it just a myth?
That's a good question.
It's a very common question, believe it or not. I'm asked this question all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any evidence to say that cracking your fingers can cause arthritis.
Yeah.
But of course, repeated trauma, as in, if you're sort of cracking all the time and causing some form of trauma to your small joints, may lead to wear and tear in the arthritis. But I think you need to understand why the person is cracking the joints. It's probably because the joints are stiff, so you want to sort of move them. And the stiffness comes from prolonged inactivity or overuse. I think the typical example is texting. We know that people who are hooked onto their mobiles and texting all the time, you can get texters' thumbs and texters' fingers. This can cause a lot of strain on the tendons, can trigger your joints. So this is one of the reasons why people who are repeatedly texting and typing a lot can come with joint pains in the hands. And this is not necessarily an inflammatory arthritis. So yeah, cracking, I suppose, if you repeatedly do that, it may cause a bit of wear and tear, but you need to see why you're cracking in the first instance. Is it just out of habit, or is it because your joints are stiff and not mobile?
Okay.
You've talked about obesity as a risk factor, genetics as well, but is there a divide along gender lines? Are women more likely to have arthritis than men, or vice versa?
Well, there are certain types of arthritis. We clearly see the gender differences, such as rheumatoid arthritis, SLE, which is one of the connective tissue autoimmune diseases. These are all very common in women. Literally every one man affected, there are 9 women affected. So we see a gender preponderance in these type of conditions, while some other conditions such as psoriatic arthritis could be equally distributed amongst men and women. Osteoarthritis, again, due to aging and wear and tear in the joints, could be seen equally in both men and women. Ankylosing spondylitis, for instance, is one of the conditions that seems to affect men more than women. Again, the genetic factors do play a big role in this. But wear and tear type of arthritis, osteoarthritis, is more common it's common in both genders. Osteoporosis, another condition which is due to general bone turnover slowdown, and this can affect women more than men because bones are protected by estrogen hormone, and women, when they attain menopause, the estrogen protection of the bone tends to get lower as the age progresses. So this is more common in women. However, men can get osteoporosis as well because of decreasing levels of testosterone. So yes, we do see gender differences in some conditions, and in some conditions it's equal.
Well, we were talking to Dr. Bhavna Khan, a consultant rheumatologist and active supporter at Middle East Arthritis Foundation. And today we're marking World Arthritis Day. And Dr. Bhavna, if you have one more message to the listeners here as far as being aware of what arthritis is and its impact on us, what's one thing you could tell them right now?
I would say don't ignore your joint symptoms. If you do have joint pains that last over a period of time, if it is affecting your day-to-day activities, you must get your joints checked. At the same time, make sure your lifestyle measures, your diet, and keep moving. We are promoting Movement Mantra. If any of you logged into our sessions in the last 2-3 days, there's been a huge emphasis on movement. Keep moving, keep exercising, and maintain a healthy lifestyle, and do not ignore your joint symptoms. Right. Again, I would like to urge and request all our participants to please log in to the Middle East Arthritis Foundation event. We've put in a lot of efforts to increase awareness of different forms of arthritis. There are daily webinars and there are daily sessions where we can answer your questions. Please log in and we can help. Thank you very much for inviting me to this show.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
We appreciate it as well, Dr. Bhavna, for enlightening us and our audience as well about what arthritis is and how to avoid it. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks very much. Thanks for inviting me again.
Thank you, Dr. Bhavna. Stay tuned to the Pulse 95. We've got more stories lined up on the Morning Majlis this morning. This is Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.